Hey everyone, Sean Taggy here signing in for another video. Today's a real exciting one. I'm going to be talking about our first apartment syndication that we bought. We have bought other apartment complexes by ourselves with our own capital. This was the first one though where we raised money with other investors and syndicated it to buy an apartment complex. So it's real exciting because this gives us the opportunity to bring other investors to join in on the properties that we invest in ourselves. So why don't we dive on into this presentation? I'm going to share my screen real quick with you. So Shelby Point Townhomes was the name of the complex that we just bought. We bought it in May, end of May 2020, so very recently. It was located at 1500 East Shelby Drive. That is just a few miles west of FedEx International Airport. We definitely know this area very well. We had two other apartment complexes that we already own in this area. So why don't we dive on into our team first off. So we created a new entity called Southern States Apartment Group, just another entity to separate us out from our other companies because the sole purpose of this company is to raise money, buy apartment complexes with other investors, and to manage it for them. So here's the dream team that was assembled. Jim Reedy, as you know him, great guy, 45 years of experience in real estate in Memphis, Tennessee. I cannot name too many people who have more experience than him, especially in this sub-market of Memphis. Brad Reedy, his son, has been working with Jim as his right-hand man for over 10 years, has worked with hedge funds to help them buy thousands of units over the years. Myself, Sean Taggy, on the team as Chief Operating Officer, Mark Hart, Chief Investment Officer, and Jay Reedy, Jim's son, Brad's brother. He is living in Spokane, Washington area, and he's renovating multifamily apartment complexes, has done other syndications. So everyone knows a thing or two about real estate and brings their own strengths and weaknesses to the table. So our objectives for purchasing this house and any apartment complex is 4, to be specific. 1, preservation of capital. 2, income. 3, tax efficiency. And 4, capital gains. Capital preservation, first and foremost, is the most important thing, right? The money we put into the deal, we don't want to lose that. As Warren Buffett says, his first rule of investing is don't lose money, and his second rule is don't lose money. So we want to be good stewards of the money that we're raising from other investors and treat it like our own. Number one, because we are putting a lot of our own money into these deals. In this deal specifically, we put in almost nearly half of the capital needed to perform on this deal. So we're treating it like it's our own. And we're trying to mitigate our risks as best we can. We're trying to control all the things that are in our control with the property management, the renovation, the tenants we put in there, everything like that. And also watching out for the things that we can't control by running conservative numbers and performing our due diligence on the property. Second objective is to produce income, right? We want cash flow. That's why we're in the game of real estate, is for long-term cash flow. That is done by increasing our income and decreasing our expenses. We increase our income by maximizing rents, by renovating the property as high as we can, but not too high and not too low, to not over or under renovate it. Then also watching out with the tenants that we put in there, trying to qualify them, seeing how we can get them to stay there as long as possible to reduce vacancies, and also collect rent from them, making sure they're well qualified and can pay. Second, decreasing operational expenses, being efficient with the staff that we hire, hiring great staff that is friendly, that can be watching out for us. Also, ordering materials in bulk is one of the advantages we have that helps people out and reduces our expenses. Thirdly is tax efficiencies. I think this is a big game changer that a lot of people don't really consider in real estate, but sometimes this is the only reason some people invest in real estate is for tax efficiencies. When you're running a high income and in one of those highest tax brackets, every dollar you can write off is an awesome play. So what's awesome about real estate is that we definitely have accountants and CPAs that help us out, and we track as much as we can to write off, legally, morally, and ethically, of course, and just be tracking that to help out reduce our tax burdens and liabilities. Fourth, capital gains. We want to force appreciation, add value. All of our deals, we're looking to raise the rents, increase the occupancy, manage it better, just everything like that under the sun, to increase the capital gains on the property. That is done by increasing the net operating income, which therefore, depending on what the cap rate is per the market, will automatically increase the value. And that's what's awesome about multifamily investing, is that it's not based on what a homeowner would pay for it, based on the look. It's based on what the income is at. And that's something very controllable and something very predictable that you can do. So here's our competitive advantages as on this deal and all of our multifamily deals and for our partners and the other people that helped syndicate this with us. Number one, we're a turnkey provider. We know Memphis inside and out. We've renovated and sold 260 houses alone in 2019 and over the past couple of years, around 250 homes a year. And we're currently working with other 700 other investors all over the world. So we know what it's like to communicate with them. We know what it's like, the questions they have living far away and investing out of state hundreds of miles away. We know all those ins and outs. We have an in-house property management company, which I think is really huge. It aligns the interests, right? We want that to produce instead of the property management company just wanting to collect fees and income. They actually want the asset to produce well and have a great track record there. Our property management company, Reading Company, was voted the #4 best place to work in 2019 for mid-level size companies. We manage 2,700 doors, a lot of experience. We also have a 5,000 square foot warehouse where we can buy materials in bulk and pass those savings on. And we also have lots of crews lined up that also give us bulk discounted rates for the amount of volume and work we provide them. Experience. The Reedy family, along with myself and Mark and all of us combined, have purchased over 600 apartment complexes in the past 24 months. So a lot of experience from each person. Obviously, 45 years experience in the Memphis market says a lot alone. Jim has renovated over 6,000 units over his career. I don't think there's anyone in town that has renovated more than him, specifically in this space and in this field. So a lot of experience with renovations. Also, we have a brokerage. We're licensed in Tennessee and Mississippi. So that gives us validity, lets us know the comps, helps us have negotiating power when getting these deals done and trying to buy them, because you make the money when you buy. So here's our track record. Most of these were bought by Jim Reedy solely with his family and maybe close friends and relatives, but mainly just under our experience. We really wanted to take down a lot of deals on our own before we opened this up to other investors, just because we're worried. We really wanted to perform well. We wanted to make the mistakes on our end, learn the little kinks along the way with our own deals before learning that with someone else's money. So here's all the deals that have been done and completed in the past 36 months or so. I'll just kind of go over a few. Sherwood Forest, 108 unit, purchased in January 2020. That one just recently, they're planning on refinancing pretty soon. It's been performing well. Oak Grove, purchased in September of 2018, 163 unit. That one has already been refinanced. That helped us learn a lot on what we can project. It can refinance for a couple of years later, and obviously a big play because that gets a lot of the risk off the table, able to put a lot of our original capital put back into our pocket. Beverly Springs was the first deal done start to finish, where buy, renovate, refinance, resell, make a profit, know the numbers, everything in between. Summer East, 120 unit in March of 2018. That one's been refinanced, helped us get a lot of data from the second appraisal when it was refinanced, what lenders are looking for and everything in between. Waring Park Flats, I was personally involved in that one, purchased in March of 2019. We were able to raise rents around 150 to 200 bucks a month on that, put in over a $1.5 million renovation. We plan on refinancing Q1 of 2021. Graceland Flats, 100 units roughly, June and July of 2018, and the refinance has been completed. Chambliss, a 36 unit, refinance has been completed. So a lot of deals, a lot of experience, a lot of paperwork, lessons learned, and we've just brought all those lessons and the little tweaks and the nuances and how to renovate these properties quickly and efficiently over time, how to push rents not too high but not too low, and everything in between. We've brought on a great management team, hired great people for all these properties to manage. Just learned so much from all these deals and experience. Now let's dive into the assets. So on 1500 East Shelby Drive, it was first called South Point Townhomes, and we decided to actually rebrand the entire complex just because of the bad name it had, how it wasn't being managed very well from the previous owner. The property is 124 units, it's 2 stories, and it's 1,100 square feet, all the same, 2 1.5. What's nice is they're townhomes, so just one side, the top and bottom floor, is rented by one tenant. That way you don't have a tenant above and a tenant below each other, and the top tenant is playing like bowling or something up top, or at least it sounds like that. So that way they're kind of separated out a little bit more. All they're doing is sharing a wall. It was built in 1973. We would definitely call this a C, maybe a C plus asset in Memphis. What the value play was is that was very under rented and under managed and under occupied. So the current rents are at 550, and as you can see, they haven't been increasing them at all. Where really market rent is at 725 a month. So big value there to increase. What we did and how you do multifamilies is you really got to dive into those rents and see if you can add value in the rents and what it would cost to renovate that to add the value. So we ran the comps using some data and everything like that's provided by CoStar. What was awesome about the comps is number one comp, Graceland Flats, and number three over here, we both own those assets, right? We own both of them. So we knew what the comps would be. We knew what we could push rents to. Very similar square footage on the Chambliss Village, especially. And we saw that we had that property 100% occupied. And we had a lot of people interested when anything went vacant. So we knew we could push rents to $695, $725 pretty easily. And so we decided to run very conservatively, even with market rent at $725. We put our analysis at year 2 to be fully stabilized at $695 rent. So that was the big play there, just looking at those comps. Here's the aerial view of the asset over several buildings and doors in the red area. What's nice about the asset, it's located on Shelby Drive, which is a busy street, lots of traffic there. So you get a lot of people going by the sign. We put a nice sign there up on the street, a lot of foot traffic and people coming through, interest, but also it's not located on the busy street because as you can see, it's behind some commercial buildings tucked away. Then also is this neighborhood nearby is a really nice neighborhood for the area, nice large 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes, a lot of homeowners in that area, and we know that area with our turnkey model. We would love to buy in that area. It's a little bit harder because homeowners are buying in that area, but we do some turnkey flips in that area as well. So we know the area very well. So here's the investment strategy. What we did on this property is we rebranded the complex day one. It was really just to show there's a new sheriff in town. We're going to totally revitalize this area. We performed the exterior renovations first just to make it look totally fresh as new tenants were walking in there and justifying the increase in rents to the current tenants as their leases expired. We just showed it was a great renovation. Totally, as you can see from this picture, the siding was dilapidated, the roofs were leaking through, the brick was all dirty, so we repainted the whole exterior, reshingled and everything like that to just really make it look nice. We put in nicer sidewalks in many areas. There are some trip hazards, some minor erosion issues we fixed up with some retaining walls, the fencing along the perimeter, did a big exterior renovation to make it look nice, remove some trees, everything like that. Then we'll renovate in blocks of 5 to 15 units. We actually started with 30 units at the first little go around because of the economies of scale. Once a worker replumbs or repipes something in one unit, it's the same unit in the next one. He can just go, knows exactly how to cut everything, can cut it 10 or 30 times, for all of his plumbing and sheetrock and everything in between. So it really helped our economies of scale by it being quite vacant at purchase. And then as we lease up more, we'll keep renovating more blocks of 5 to 15, depending on demand, until we get 100% fully renovated and up to that higher rent value. The big value was we added washers and dryers into the units. A lot of people shy away from that because it's a harder renovation to do, takes more work, but we saw that it could increase the rent so much more based on the renovation cost that it would cost to do that. Also, it just makes it so people want to stay in the units longer because they're like, well, I got washers and dryers here. Everywhere else has a laundromat, or I have to go somewhere else to get my laundry done. Then obviously the big thing was to increase the occupancy and the rents. Then our plan was in 2 to 3 years to refinance, pull a portion of our cash out, and continue to manage well and increase rents as the market allows. Then in 7 to 12 years after the refinance or the total hold time, plan to exit as pricing and market conditions allow. So there's the plan. I'm going to dive into some numbers here. Just reading a little reminder here. The managers of Southern States Apartment Group do not provide legal advice. We're not presenting this as an investment opportunity. It's something we've already done. All prospective investors are encouraged to seek their own tax, financial, and legal guidance. All this financial information I'm providing, it's reliable, but it's not guaranteed. Our performance and projections are estimated and subject to change. And the manager shall be held harmless if returns are not met. All investments have risks. Investors are urged to perform their own due diligence, right? Something our lawyers make us say every time. So here's our high-level projections on this deal. Yet again, just something we already bought, and here's how we kind of analyzed it and underwrote the deal. We bought it for $3.45 million. We had a $2.6 million renovation budget, and we got a loan that factored in the reno and the purchase of 4.65 million. The rate was 4.75 with a 3-year balloon and a 25-year AM put on it. What was nice is we got interest payments, only payments for the first 15 months, because as we're renovating it and it's not very occupied at the beginning, it was nice just to pay interest only. What was also nice about the loan is as we did the renovation, we were only charged of the loan outstanding loan balance. So as we did the renovation, we could get draws against that renovation budget. And so we weren't charged the full 4.65 loan at the beginning. Over time, we just kind of give them our bills and they do an inspection to make sure we did those repairs and we got loan draws. So that helped our numbers as well, not being charged interest on the full loan amount. The annual debt payment would be $326,000. We had a down payment of $1.4 million, some closing costs of $105,000. We as the managers charged a 1% acquisition fee for finding the deal, doing due diligence on it, all the paperwork and overhead. And we had a working capital / reserves of $372,000 to kind of mitigate a operational loss for the first 3 to 6 months, also to pay the rehab first and then get the draws to backfill that. So total investment was just under $2 million. The current rents were $550 a month at door, and the occupancy was just under 70% occupied, and also with some tenants not paying in when we did our due diligence. As we projected rents at year 2 to be $695 a month and at 92% occupied, even though our other two comps, one of them was 100% occupied and at pushing $725 a month, which is a very similar comp as mentioned. So very conservative numbers we ran. At year 9, we projected to have an NOI of $677,000, which was kind of like our target exit date. That would give us a sell price at an 8 cap, which is yet again a conservative cap rate. They're running at a 7.5, 7.75 in this area. So just a little bit higher of a cap rate, showing a lower and conservative estimation of about 8.4 million sell. And we get a net proceed of 2.3 million from mortgage pay down, the appreciation and everything like that, and cash flow during that interim. So just giving you guys an update of what's been happening. So we bought it in May. So we've owned it for about 3-4 months now. Big update on the rent. We had a projection of $695 after 2 years of owning it. Right now, day 1, we rented one. Oh, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. So $695 a month. We rented one at $695 a month. Then we rented 7. We're like, that's too quick. There's so many people wanting this property, wanting to rent it, seeing that we're renovating the unit so nice. Once we got a model unit up, we had 7 people rented at $725 a month. And then we saw, you know what? That's too low. So then we raised it to $750 a month, and we're actually thinking of pushing it to $775 a month. Anyways, just showing we had a great team member, on-site property manager, that was letting us know the leasing activity, and monthly, we would adjust and raise these rents as the market allows. We also want, you don't want to raise them too high to not have a big enough saturation, because obviously you want to get out of the operational loss as it's vacant at the beginning, but also you do want higher rents, because every $25 adds up over time. Times it by 12, divided by an 8 cap, you can see it's a huge, huge value add play. So our renovation update, we project to be slightly below budget. We've had some actuals on the exterior especially. We're probably going to be a little bit under, probably like 100,000 under on the renovation budget, which is around $1.25 million on the renovation. And we project to be on time completion, maybe even sooner to refinance, because of the stabilization is going so quick. So we're hitting our projections, we're hitting our numbers. We had conservative numbers, so that's why it's kind of easy to hit our projections. A communication update is that our team meets up monthly and goes over this deal. We get a renovation update, a leasing update, financials. We rework our projections. That's something our team does and is really watching over this asset like a hawk. Next is we have monthly investor updates. We're updating our investors with a video communication, some financials, everything like that every month, especially during the renovation phase, and showing them all that. So what we project on doing is at year 2, now with even a higher rent amount, average rents at $695, we projected to have a refinance at about 30-40% of our capital put in. We'd be able to pull out, leaving the other 60%, and get like a long-term 30-year fixed Fannie Freddie loan, or like a life insurance loan. Those are just great loans, really makes the deal stable. And then from there, we were planning on having great returns from there, and just raising the rents slightly, 2.5% every year, until that year 9 where we have that exit projection. So those were our projections on the deal. As you can see, we're trailing well towards that, feeling great and confident. Who knows how things go, right? This is real estate where things go up or down, but at least we feel good. We ran things pretty conservatively and are hitting things at least right now. So thank you so much for watching this slide, guys. We're so happy that I could kind of share some of our knowledge and experience that we've done in buying this apartment complex. Hopefully it gives you some insight, some inspiration, and wisdom. Let us know if you have any questions. You want to talk more about multifamily apartment complexes. It's our passion, our pride, and single family, of course, as well. Thank you so much. Enjoy yourself at Summit. Have a good one.